İyi günler hocam.
İyi günler.
Tasavvufla olan ilginiz nasıl başladı? Önce buradan başlayalım.
Hı hı. Tekrar söyleyebilir misin? Kusura bak.
Tasavvuf ile ilginiz sizin.
Benim mi?
Evet.
Yes. My relationship with Sufism began when I was the first year student of the university. At that time, I happened to read the book by Toshihiko Izutsu, and I was fascinated by his book on Ibn Arabi and his school. That was the starting point of my research.
İbn Arabi üzerine çalışma
Yes,
yaptınız.
yes.
Türkiye ile bağlantınız nasıl başladı?
When I was studying in Cairo University between 1986 and 1988, I visited Turkey in 1987, and at that time I realized that the Ottoman period is very important for Islamic culture, but it hasn't studied enough. That's why at that time I decided to study Islamic civilization and Islamic mysticism during the Ottoman period. That was the starting point.
Türkiye'de ne kadar araştırma yaptınız?
First time, as I told you, I went to Turkey in 1987, and later 91, and then several times, and then in the year of 2002, I stayed 6 months in Istanbul. I stayed at Üsküdar, and later than that, I spent 1 month every summer in Istanbul.
Çalışırken belgelerden yararlandınız. Özellikle Osmanlıca metinlerden. Bunlar sizin çalışmalarınıza nasıl bir katkıda bulundu? Neler gördünüz, neler çıktı bu belgelerden?
Yani, I started my research on Islamic civilization with Arabic and Persian, and then I realized the importance of Turkish culture, and tekrar söyler misiniz soru?
Osmanlıca arşivlerden Sufizm üzerine bir araştırma yaptınız. Bu arşivlerden ne kadar yararlandınız?
Arşivlerden.
Evet, Osmanlı arşivinden. Kaynak kitapları.
And
Sufizmle ilgili yazılmış olan kaynaklardan nasıl yararlandınız?
And I found many manuscripts at Süleymaniye Library, and not only Arabic and Persian, but also there are many Ottoman Turkish books. Ottoman Turkish manuscripts, and it encouraged me to continue my study on Sufism, especially not only in Arabic and Persian, but also in Ottoman Turkish.
Peki Japonya'daki bu İslam Enstitüsü, bunun kuruluşundan biraz bahsedebilir misiniz?
I am really happy to open a new center called Kenan Rifai Center for Sufi Studies in Japan, in Kyoto University. Kyoto University has a long history of the study on mysticism, especially in Far East, for example, Buddhist mysticism, and Taoist mysticism, and so on and so forth. And beside that, now we can add new trends on Islamic mysticism. And so I believe that this is, the opening of this new center becomes a very important turning point for Sufi studies in Japan and in Far East.
Ne kadar öğrenci var? Bugüne kadar ne kadar öğrenci yetiştirdiniz? Hangi alanlarda çalışma yaptınız? Bir de siz bu öğrencileri daha çok Türkiye'ye yönlendirdiniz. Hani bunun sebebi nedir? Orada nasıl çalışmalar yapıldı?
In our graduate school, we have 3 divisions. One of them is our division, and it is divided into 3 departments. And one of them is the Department on Islamic World Studies. And every year, we have only graduate school. We don't have undergraduate courses. And every year, we select only 3 students to this graduate school. And so I pick up 1 or 2 students for Sufi studies every year. And some of them are interested in Arabic Sufism, others in Persian Sufism. But maybe nowadays half of my students are interested in Turkish Sufism and Sufism in Ottoman period and contemporary Turkey. And we have several programs to dispatch our students to foreign countries, and especially to Turkey. And so every year, my students spend at least 2-3 months. In some cases, they spend a whole year, 2 years in Turkey, and do their field work or spend their times in the libraries and archives.
Peki akademik olarak hani Sufizmle ilgili bir çalışma yapıyorsunuz. Kişisel olarak siz kendiniz de Sufi olarak tanımlıyor musunuz? O kişisel hikayenizle biraz paylaşır mısınız?
Thank you very much for your question about myself. And I myself am not a Sufi myself, but I'm very interested in Sufi thought, and also not only Sufism, Islamic mysticism, but also I'm interested in mysticism in general, mysticism in the world. And you know that Professor Izutsu was also interested in mysticism in general, especially mysticism in East, in Orient. I mean Orient means Islam, according to him. So he wanted to construct his own philosophy called Izutsu Orientalism. I mean Oriental philosophy or Oriental mysticism, including Sufism, Taoism, Buddhist Zen mysticism, and other trends of Buddhist mysticism, and Indian, and so on and so forth. And so I want to, if possible, I'd like to follow his way of thinking. And so in this center, new center, I'd like to start our study on the comparison between mysticism, between several trends of mysticism, not only on Sufism, but also with, for example, the comparative studies with between Sufism and Buddhist mysticism.
Şimdi Kenan Rifai Enstitüsü kuruldu. Siz de bunun başındaki isimsiniz. Hani bunun da bir sürecinden bahsedebilir misiniz? Bu kurulma aşamasından. Şimdiden sonra orayla ilgili neler yapacağız?
Bundan şimdi sonra.
Bir öncesini.
Öncesini.
Nasıl bir hazırlık yapıldı? Şimdiden sonra orada neler
Evet.
yapacak? İslam'a katkısı, Sufizme katkısı ne olacak?
Yani our future prospect yani. Tamam. When I was in Japan before going to Turkey last summer, I was informed that Kerim Foundation kindly had an intention to open a new center at Kyoto University on Sufism, and I had a chance to stay in Istanbul for 1 month in summer, in August of 2015, and at that time the Kerim Foundation gave me several chances to meet with them, and at that time we almost agreed about the establishment of the new center, and then we continued our discussion with each other, and then in November 2015 we decided to establish Kenan Rifai Center for Sufi Studies, and we launched the preparation office at that time. And in March 2016, we invited almost 50 Turkish distinguished guests to Kyoto University, and we had very exciting opening ceremony for our center. And as a future prospect, First, I'd like to become a kind of hub of Sufi studies in Asia, especially in Far East and Southeastern Asia and South Asia and so on. And I'd like to also our center would like to become a bridge between Far East and Middle East. So I'd like to dispatch many of my students to Turkey to study Sufism, not only contemporary but also during the Ottoman period. And at the same time, the Turkish scholars and students are most welcome to study or give a lecture or to study at Kyoto University.
Açılan bu merkezlerin İslam'la ilgili yapılan bu çalışmaların dünyadaki İslamofobinin önüne geçmesi mümkün.
İslamofobinin, evet.
Önüne geçmek, onunla mücadele etmek konusunda bir katkısı olacak mı? Bununla ilgili neler düşünüyorsunuz?
In Japan, we don't have a strong Islamophobia as in Europe or the States, but common Japanese people have a very negative image on Islam itself because of the terrorism. But I believe that there are several types of Islam. One is very terroristic, extreme Islam. But I believe that Islam in Turkey, or Turkish traditional Islam, is totally different from such a kind of Islam. And I believe that it is based on the tradition of Sufism and tariqas. And so I'd like to show the other side of other face of Islam, taking the example of Turkish Islam based on Sufism. Yeter mi? Biraz daha mı?
Yeter, başka söyleyeceğiniz şeyler varsa. Çünkü bu biraz güncel bir konu. Mesela şöyle bir şey, Japonya'da İslam ne kadar tanınıyor? İslamofobi var mı? Hani bu şekilde devam.
Tamam. So in Japan, there is very few Islamophobia. So it is we are lucky because of that. But we have very poor. I mean, common Japanese have very poor knowledge on Islam. So our view of Islam is very biased. And so if our news center can inform the common Japanese people of other side of Islam, that is maybe a Sufistic Islam, they will come to have another image of Islam, and it will make our image of Islam much better than present.
Bir de güncel bir soru soracağım. Şimdi Orta Doğu'ya baktığımız zaman bütün İslam ülkeleri arasında bir savaş, bir şiddet söz konusu.
Evet.
İşte Avrupa'ya baktığımız zaman bomba konuluyor. Yine İslam ve şiddet öne çıkıyor. Buradaki insanların İslam'a bakışı...
İstanbul bakışı.
İslam
bakışı, evet.
İslam'a bakışı nasıl? Sizler onlara neler anlatıyorsunuz? Bir onların duydukları var, bir sizin anlattıklarınız.
Yani Japonların İslam'a bakışı mı? Evet.
Bunlar olumsuz etkiliyor mu onları? Çünkü siz barıştan bahsediyorsunuz, bir yerde savaş var.
Yes. It is very difficult for me or for us Japanese specialists on Islam to convince common Japanese people that of the fact that the Islam itself is not extreme or is not violent, because we have many chances to talk to the common Japanese people, not only in the university but also in the open lecture, in the chances of open lecture to the common Japanese people. And we emphasize that Islam itself is very peaceful, it's full of love, and it is based on Sufism, but only after one day after my lecture, bombing is happening. So everything I wanted to convey to the common people is broken with that terrorism. It's very sad, but I believe that we must continue our effort to make the common image on Islam of Japanese people become better than now.
Bir de şöyle bir şey söyleyeceğim. Japonya'dan Türkiye'ye gelen çok akademisyenler var. Ve bu akademisyenler de daha çok Süleymaniye'deki arşivlerde çalışıyor. Ama iki ülkeye baktığımız zaman ikisi birbirinden çok uzakmış gibi. Hani bu ilgi mesela neyden kaynaklanıyor?
Neyle mi?
İlgi.
İlgi neyle?
En çok Türkiye'de araştırma yapan ülkelerden biri Japonya. Japonya'da Osmanlı arşivlerde çok fazla çalışma yapıyor akademisyenler. Hani bu ilginin sebebi sizce ne? Bu genel bir soru.
Tamam. So it is fact that there are many Japanese scholars studying in Ottoman archives and also in Süleymaniye Kütüphanesi, Süleymaniye Library. But I believe that before me, there have been only Japanese scholars on history, Ottoman history, came to Istanbul so often. It was not the case with the specialists on Islamic thought, especially on Sufism. Maybe I was the first person to make my research in Süleymaniye Library and archives. But after me, many younger generations are following me, and they use Süleymaniye Library so often to collect the manuscripts on Sufism in Ottoman Turkish. And nowadays, more and more Japanese researchers are interested in the manuscripts and archives on Sufism, which is surviving in the Turkish libraries.
Thank you.
Teşekkür ederim. Çok teşekkür ederim.